Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV, and Board Game. Today we're doing a review of Magic number 9, the penultimate issue of this rather interesting adaptation of Magic the Gathering produced by Boom Studios. Written by Jed MacKay, art by Guara, colored by Arianna Consonni, lettered by Ed Dukeshire. Alright, the stage is set. We know the big bad, Marit Lage, is on its way, and the Planeswalkers need to gather some allies to defeat the big bad. Well, how the hell are they going to go do that? The defeat, not necessarily gathering the walkers. That part seems to be easy. This is an issue where they, it's that part of the movie where, the music plays and we get to see the team assemble and, get their weapons ready and get their uniforms on and kind of start discussing the plan as to how they're going to defeat the bad guy. Well, that really is the entire issue. Laid out. We get the plan, we get who's involved, we get how they got involved, we get the pitch and what's at stake. It's a really interesting issue, and I think pretty solid. It's a very typical one, and I kind of wish maybe things were done a little bit different. It'd be kind of fun to drop us in the middle of the battle of what's going on and then kind of backtrack from there. But instead, this kind of takes us from the initial gathering, or not really the initial, the now with the gathering, and then backtracks. I would have done maybe a little bit different story-wise, but generally, I'm kind of digging the issue. It's a very stereotypical, very common moment in storytelling, so I'm not going to knock it too much. But it's done pretty solid, and I think the big thing is it introduces a lot of characters we have not met up to this point. So, it does a decent job of getting them into the story and maybe what their roles are, why they should care, and what their personalities are that we're going to be dealing with. So, in that sense, I think the issue and it's kind of key. It also, I feel like, sets up a huge direction for whatever comes next, because we've been introduced to so many different planeswalkers at this time. There's now many more characters we can split off of and get miniseries from, and who knows with the next storyline who that will completely involve. We at least got one person, two, I guess. So overall, it's an interesting issue. It's the moment before the battle where the generals give their speech. It's not too surprising. Art continues to be pretty solid. I like the depictions. I'm not a huge Magic the Gathering, I don't have tons of knowledge at this point. It's been quite a few years since I've played regularly, but I actually recognize a lot of these characters. So just looking at them, I recognize, which I think is a pretty solid sign of how things are and how they're depicted art-wise. So overall, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty solid with it. I think it's a pretty cool story. I think the only interesting is I don't know if this dude's in anywhere. I know him from the video games, but I actually don't see him unless I'm mistaken. Is that Karn? Is that the dude that I'm missing and not picking up? But he's the only one I can't quite figure out where the hell he is in this picture. Whatever. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid issue. It introduces a lot of characters. There's some pretty cool art. We're just going to do this nice little 2-page spread to show off. It checks the box and does what it needs to do. I think Magic fans will be geeking out a little bit more than normal comic fans who don't know Magic, just because they're going to see the characters and probably have a bit more connection and knowledge of who they are and appreciate the interactions and some of the references. But overall, I think it's a good introduction to a lot of characters, and it does that really well. Looks like we got one more issue to go, so I'm excited to see how this ends. Is now that we know what the plan is, there's no way in hell it's going right. Yeah. So overall, it's a good second to last issue of the story arc. You can get this now in comic shops. We got a link beneath this video where you can purchase your own. Where you can go find a local comic shop, put in your zip code, tell the shops near you. No shop, no problem. We also have links where you can purchase your own. There'll be affiliate links, so we get a small percentage out of that. By doing that, you'll support our site. If you're into comics, you can check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. If you are into games, check us out at Board Game Today. Board games, role-playing games, trading card games, collectible card games, miniature games, all there. Also on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram at Board Game Today. As always, until next time, keep rolling those dice, get your game on, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching Board Game Today. We always appreciate your views and your support, but there are so many ways for you to support our site. Not only can you do it right here on video, but you can go and check us out at boardgametoday.com, where we have more news, reviews, interviews, everything you could ever want. But since you're here, if you could, you can always give us a like, subscribe, or share our videos or watch something else. Is always much appreciated, and get your game on.